The political gridlock over the partial U.S. government shutdown was on stark display Tuesday after a small group of centrist-leaning Democrats declined to participate in talks at the White House. And Republicans pounced.
I thought I was coming to a bipartisan luncheon. No Democrats showed up. So we'll continue to try and do our work, and hopefully someone will show up at the table one of these days.
Reuters White House correspondent Steve Holland.
We remain at a very serious impasse. The shutdown now prolonged, the longest in our country's history. We really see no end in sight to this unless there's some breakthrough, but there's really not even any serious negotiations.
The partial shutdown, now in its fourth week, affects nearly 1/4 of the federal government. President Donald Trump refused to sign a spending bill that did not include $5.7 billion for a wall along the border with Mexico.
I am proud to shut down the government for border security, Chuck. I will be the one to shut it down. I'm not going to blame you for it.
Since then, the president and his party have tried to blame Democrats for the impasse.
The federal government remains shut down for one reason, and one reason only, because Democrats will not fund border security.
But Reuters polling finds that a majority of Americans say the shutdown is mostly Trump's fault. Reuters polling editor Chris Kahn.
We're finding this week that about 51% of Americans blame Donald Trump. They say that he should get most of the blame for the shutdown. About another 6 to 7% think that Republicans in Congress get most of the blame, and about 32 to 34% think that Democrats should get most of the blame. Now, all those trends are about the same except for Donald Trump. Since we've been tracking this, the percentage of those who blame Trump have increased about 4 or 5 percentage points since late December.
Roughly 800,000 federal workers are furloughed or working without pay. The Trump administration has been trying to find ways to relieve some of the pain. The Secretary of Homeland Security tweeted she was working with the White House and Congress to keep paying the U.S. Coast Guard. The Federal Aviation Administration this week is bringing back about 500 furloughed safety inspectors to ease strain on air travel. And the Food and Drug Administration will call back about 500 inspectors to their jobs checking drugs, medical devices, baby formula, and produce. Democrats in the U.S. House have passed bills fully funding the government, but Republican Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has refused to allow those bills a vote in his chamber, saying the only way to resolve the shutdown is an agreement between Democrats and U.S. President Donald Trump.